Everybody wants attention. We all want attention. We are in what marketing people call the attention economy.
Look at me, look at me.
Brands usually are trying to just say that.
Hands in the air like it's good to be alive.
So marketing's bad. If you see a woman in a bikini and it's not renting the woman or selling the bikini, that's psychological warfare. It's using psychology and your biases and your sex drive or your envy drive or whatever that's called to manipulate you into associating the endorphins that you feel with the woman in the bikini with the product that they're trying to sell. It's not healthy. It shouldn't be legal. The other kind of advertising is the kind that tells you what the product is in a way that's sane and healthy and awesome. Within that second category, there's really clever marketing. This is Jones Cola. Jones Cola, if you're into soda, is probably level 2 or 3, number 2 or 3 in the best sodas in the world. This particular soda I like. Not just because the soda is good. I do love sarsaparilla. If you're not sure what sarsaparilla is, it's root beer before it became root beer. This is not about root beer or sarsaparilla. This is about Jones Soda collaborating with a TV show, a streaming show on Amazon called Fallout, which is based on a video game. In season 2, there's a joke. There's this factory where these kids are just taking bottle caps off of root beer or sarsaparilla or whatever it was at the time. When the character who ran the factory with the kids taking off the caps of root beer, I know that's a lot of qualifiers.
Why aren't you making money for me?
Which didn't make any sense early in the show. Later we find out that bottle caps are actually the currency of the day. Then Jones Cola comes out. It is absolutely a collaboration of what good branding looks like, what good marketing looks like. The bottle caps and the soda, and it even comes with this little fridge magnet, which I'm going to show you because it's clever too. Each case comes with it. If you don't have strong hands, you need this tool, which you attach to the top of the bottle. I'm not going to do that because I want to drink it later. And you turn it. So it grips the top of the soda bottle and turns it. That's the kind of marketing that's good, that's well done. And I've seen it a couple of times. My personal favorite marketing was in rural areas like the one I grew up in, Fallbrook. There are septic tanks, which are tanks that hold the sewage and slowly digest it and allow it to permeate through the yard, which then causes your grass to grow better. However, sometimes septic tanks get clogged and you need this company to come out and pump your septic tank. One of the trucks that was a septic tank pump, on the back of it said, "Your crap is our bread and butter." I thought that was hilarious. I've never forgotten it. Don't ask me the name of the company or their contact information because I forgot that. That marketing was brilliant. Another one is for The Accountant sequel, the movie with Ben Affleck and John Barenthal. John Barenthal's amazing in everything he does. Watch that guy. This billboard was on the back of buses as marketing for The Accountant too. It was brilliant. Because if you just look at it, you think, oh, why is an accounting firm advertising on the back of buses? But then you see that accountant is prettier than most accountants. Turns out it was Ben Affleck. Why am I talking about all of this, other than branding and marketing? I'm talking about it because I think for when you're not selling something, when you're just being you, our sense of self comes from our interaction with each other. A large part of it does. We basically use words and society as a model for self-correction of the pattern recognition machine within our brains. The narrative engine within our brains isn't 100% certain of what it believes because, quite frankly, we're not optimized to view reality as it is. We use others in a social context to tell us whether what we believe is correct or not. This becomes a problem when you're an iconoclast like I am. An iconoclast is someone who questions traditionally held beliefs. And I do that a lot. My own beliefs, and as a result of the person that I become when I've questioned my own beliefs, I naturally, through the way that I am, question other beliefs. You look at me, you see I'm not doing things in the normal way, you're like, hey, that's possible? One example is I went to the desert. A friend of mine has a house near Joshua Tree, and he invited me to stay with him for the weekend, last weekend. And so I did. And while I was there, I was talking with a man who has kids, as did everyone else there except me. All the other guys there except me had kids. And he's like, do you have kids? And I was like, I don't. And I said, my wife and I decided not to have kids. We realized it was a lot of work, and if the other spouse wanted it, we were fine with it, but neither of us actually wanted kids. And when we realized that we're both cool supporting each other whichever direction we wanted, but that neither of us really wanted it, we're like, let's just eschew that work and not do it. Most people don't even ask that question. Most people just assume you graduate school, you go to college, you graduate college, you get a good job, you find an appropriate life mate, you make people with that life mate, or you gather people if you want to adopt or artificially inseminate, or however it is that you do it. The point is, after you have the house and the college degree and the job and the life mate, you get a child. We had all of that. We didn't have the house, actually. We had some of that, but we decided not to have kids. And that's a weird decision. But when you meet me, when you meet my wife, and you find out it's like living with the best friend I've ever had, where I also get to be physically intimate with her. That's awesome. We don't have to make large-scale plans. If she finds it, well, I have a couple of days off. You want to go on a vacation? Sure, we go. We don't need a babysitter. We don't have to manage or wrangle kids. There's a lot to like about not having kids. There's also a lot we're gonna miss out, so everybody says. I don't get to see this offspring that I'm raising become the person that they become, knowing that they're an extension of me. The whole genetic drive in our brains that says make people from your genes, and it's really good that that's there, so not dissing on that. This was useful in the wilderness when we were hunter-gatherer societies or agrarian societies even. In the industrial age, in the post-industrial age, in the attention economy age where the earth has a population of 8 billion people, I think the population's okay with me and my wife choosing not to have kids. Whether we would be good parents is not an issue. Maybe we would be, maybe we wouldn't. She works with kids all day, she doesn't want more at home. I'm lazy and selfish. I want to dedicate myself to my own enlightenment and filmmaking, and so I also don't want kids. When you question those things, when you question other things, there's this tendency that sometimes people be like, oh my gosh, you're so free, that's amazing. Other times, there's mommy and me groups we don't get to participate in. There's parties that we don't get to participate in. There's all kinds of conversations where people are talking about their families and being parents that we don't get to participate in. And that social narrative reference engine, which validates the narrative or corrects the narrative within my own brain, responds to that. And so when I come back to the question of, do I love myself? Because I'm an iconoclast, because what I do forces people to question their own reality, and sometimes they respond positively, and sometimes they reject me, or get angry with me, or upset with me, I have to interface with that engine that's trying to correct me based on social norms. And I have to ask myself, is their correction valid? Or are they simply expressing unexamined biases within themselves and projecting it onto me? And so rather than questioning the unexamined narrative within themselves, they demonize me and reject me. Which, that's their journey, not judging them, they're gonna do their own thing. But as I internalize it, as I remain an iconoclast, as I continue to question these narratives within my own mind, I have to deal with the emotional and hardwired genetic resonance that tells me I am bad because I don't fit in. And that's not counting the things that I do that I don't like. That's just me being weird. So back to, do I love myself and how do I love myself? Last week, I found myself lying in bed and just did a mental list of the things I liked about myself. For one day, I just spent the whole day saying, what do I like about me? What do I actually enjoy about me? I like that I'm smart. I like that I'm driven. I like that when I commit to something like a film project, I don't quit until I realize there is no clear way forward. Like my movie, Some Call It Luck. No clear way forward. I wrote a novel called Death Row Book Club. There's no clear way forward. I don't have a way to get the $3 million to make and distribute Some Call It Luck at this point. I don't, and because I can't get 3, I certainly can't get 8 to 20, which is what I would need to create and distribute Death Row Book Club. I am barely able to afford making these short films. So that money is way beyond what I'm capable of acquiring or raising at this point. And nobody's come along with hands out. I mentioned Calvin did, but I sent him the documents and he hasn't responded, which no judgment on him. Dude's got a busy life. He's got a lot going on. And he specializes kind of in the horror genre, and that's not where I hang out. Some Call It Luck is definitely not in the horror genre. It's a crime noir. So as I did the tally, I realized there's more that I like about myself than that I dislike. I'm not, like this is as big as my muscles have gotten in my life. This is as tan as I usually am, except for the part that usually gets exposed to the sun. This is what it looks like after I've been in the desert for a week. Not my favorite thing. I don't like the fact that my hair is going away. Like, it's not super huge because I have a beautiful woman who loves me, and that's why I want to be pretty. Like, she still likes me, I think. Yeah. The tally worked pretty well. But then, because of the Don Garlits project, which is progressing, I had an issue. See, for me, the Garlits project, because it might lead to, it doesn't matter if it even leads to bigger projects with him. This small VFX bit, it's going to lead to money, which is nice as an independent filmmaker. I would like to make more money because I want to be able to fund these short films without having to borrow from my wife's and my savings in order to make them. I'm afraid that I won't do as well, or that Don won't like it, or that I won't find other jobs, or that when people ask how much do you charge, they'll say, oh, that's too much. One issue I had a while ago when I only had this camera that I'm currently filming on, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, I would go and I would make commercials that places would like. And then they would see that I'm filming on an iPhone, and then they would make their own commercials themselves because they're like, what's he got that I haven't got? That's not the case with my current camera, the Canon R5C. So I was afraid I wouldn't produce what Don wanted. I was afraid that if I didn't produce what Don wanted, that I would continue drawing money from my wife's and my savings, and she would become more and more anxious and upset. And I care about her, and I don't want her to be anxious or upset. I want her to feel amazing. I want her to feel loved and secure and safe. So the fear of my wife being uncomfortable drove me to face the fear of the Don Garlits project. And there were some moral issues there too. I could easily use artificial intelligence, generative AI, which I think is morally bankrupt, and create the videos. I even toyed around with it, and it was amazing what it could do. But it's wrong. It's morally wrong. And I had to ask myself, am I willing to deal with both sets of fears by compromising my ethics? And like, I was really digging into it for like 4 hours because, again, what the AI produced was incredible. And I said, either I act according to my conscience, either all of this process of deconstructing and evaluating my own narratives is real and the conclusions that I've come to are valid and I live according to them, or I don't. And when that realization solidified, when I came to that conclusion, when I recognized that both motivating fears were driving me towards AI, I said, well, I've got a rough cut of a version that I've done using AI as reference and some AI as generating stills, because one is the subject. Like Don sent me a still photograph of himself at the age of like 4 or 2, and I used that as a reference to kind of like articulate the model of him, and then put it in a scene using some stock photography and some background AI, generative AI, but not full motion AI, and then composited it in a variety of ways. I sent that to him, and I was like, either he's gonna hate it or he won't. And he has a vision for what he wants, so I don't get to be in control of that. When I said either he's gonna hate it or he won't, I had to kind of like be at peace with my moral choice and the consequences of that moral choice. And I was. And after I made that decision, even before I sent the rough cut to Don, I realized that I liked myself in the wrestling with those moral issues and coming to a conclusion that is contiguous, that is in line with the person that I'm striving to be and become. So I kind of like myself now. Now, I'm not saying, look at me to be validated. My validation comes from within, and I'm okay being weird now. I'm okay doing things that cause people to dislike me. Not in a way that's cruel or exploitative, but because I'm me, and they can either like me or dislike me. But I like me. I'm learning to like me. I like a lot about me, and that's a big change from last week. This vlog has gone on too long, but you'll see me next week.